See, before philosophy existed, humans explained this whole wide world through myths because there was no science to explain. I'm talking about the world that was before Christ era. Okay, so that is before Christ. So when something happened with them that they did not understand, like thunder and storms and stuff like that, they created stories to make sense of all of it because they were unable to like comprehend what was happening. So in Norse mythology, to be honest, there is this that thunder was believed to be caused by the god Thor, and as of today, almost every one of us knows who Thor is. So, there is a story that revolves around this. According to one story, Thor woke up one morning and discovered that his hammer was gone. Somebody took it. There was a thief. And this was actually a very serious problem because Thor's hammer was not just a weapon, it was what protected the world from chaos. And without it, the forces of disorder could take over anytime because Thor was the protector also. So Thor began searching for it, and soon it was discovered that the hammer has been stolen by a giant named Thrym. I guess that's how you say it. And Thrym had a condition. So the condition was that he said that he would only return the hammer if he was allowed to marry the goddess Freya. And Freya herself was the goddess of fertility. She was, I guess, according to the North mythology, she was responsible for childbirth. She was responsible for good harvest. She was responsible for the crops and everything around it. She was Mother Nature somehow, I guess. And the gods were in a difficult situation because they could not allow this marriage to happen, because if Freya left the gods and went to the giants, in that case it will be disastrous, to be honest. And the gods were in, as I said, a very difficult situation in this case, and they could not allow this marriage to happen, but they also needed the hammer back. That's the thing. So they came up with a plan, a very, very strange plan, to be honest. Instead of sending Freya, they decided that Thor himself should go, but disguised as a bride. I mean, Thor, the male guy, the male god, should go disguised as a lady, a bride. Now, Thor actually resisted at first because obviously it did not suit him and it felt wrong and humiliating. So, by the end, everyone agreed and he also agreed and he dressed as a bride. Yes, he did. And with a veil covering his face, Thor went to meet the giant. During the wedding feast, Thor's behavior raised suspicion because that bro Thor ate like far more expected than what a lady should eat, to be honest, and he was not acting like a typical bride. But the gods, even Loki explained it, that the bride was so excited because of the marriage, that's why he did not eat properly these days, and she was just hungry, so she was acting like that. Now finally the moment came. Thrym brought out the hammer and placed it in the lap of the bride, in the lap of Thor, as a part of that ceremony, as a part of the condition. He gave the hammer in the lap of the bride, in that case Thor. Now that was the moment Thor was waiting for, and this right now, whatever I'm telling you is just the story. So the moment Thor had been waiting for was here, and he grabbed the hammer, revealed his identity, and defeated the giant, restoring order. Now that is the story, to be honest. Now, this is how a myth tells a story. There were gods, there were good, there was evil, there was monsters, there were giants, there was this and this. Instead of asking what happened, like, philosophy is different from myths, guys. And instead of asking what happened, philosophy asks why did people tell this story? Why would they resort to making a story like this? And why did they believe thunder needed a god? Why did they imagine chaos as giants and order as something that needed to be restored and protected? A philosopher would not simply accept the story as true, obviously. Instead, they would try to understand the thinking behind it. What was the reason? Why is what they ask. Myth are humanity's first way of explaining and interpreting whatever was happening around them, the humans in the world, and they gave meaning to things people could not yet understand. So over time, some people began to question these explanations. The myth, they started asking, is thunder really caused by a god? Or is there a natural reason behind it? And these days we know that there is science for that. That moment when people begin to question myths instead of just blindly believing them, that is where philosophy begins. So the story of Thor is not important, but it is factual instead. It is important because it shows how humans once thought. And philosophy is the next step in that journey. It teaches us to move from stories to questions, from belief to understanding. And even today, we are still doing the same thing mostly. And we hear explanations around the world every single day, but like the very first philosophers, we also have a choice. Like every other philosopher out there. And I'm not saying that you need to be a philosopher to ask questions. See, we have a choice. We can accept the myths, we can accept everything as is, as they have been, as everyone has been accepting them, or we can question them and search for deeper answers. That is what philosophy truly is. And I'm not saying that any myth in any religion or anywhere is like fake or anything. I'm just saying that if there was a myth, then there was a reason behind it. Instead of blindly believing the myths, we should question the reason why the myths originated. So guys, this was all for this video. I need to know what you guys think about whatever I said just now. And this is Kaushal, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.